Hey everybody, how you doing? Hopefully you're watching this over the weekend on Sunday, but if you're not, then you're watching it on Monday in class, that's okay too. I'm pretty sure this is my last video lesson this chapter, and we're going to take this new skill we learned last week, long division, and we're going to use it to factor. Number one, they tell us, here's this x cubed equation, and we need to factor it, and it tells us that x plus 5 is a factor. Now, at the beginning of the chapter, we tried factoring by grouping, right? This one, you could always try to factor it using factoring by grouping, but the fact that they tell us one of the factors actually lets us note that this probably is not going to work using factoring by grouping. And if we try, let's do this very fast, minus 11x minus 30. If I try to do this by factoring by grouping, I factor out an x squared and I get x plus 4. Out of this one, I factor out a negative 1 is the only common factors they have. Let's get Elliot on this camera here. Yeah. And so I factor out a negative 1. That would give me 11x plus 30. These parentheses don't match. I have not made a mistake, so it's not factorable using factoring by grouping. So, but we do know that x plus 5 is a factor, so we're going to use long division to factor this. So here we go. We're going to divide out the x plus 5, so that's going to go on the outside of the house, and on the inside is going to go the x cubed thing, so x cubed plus 4x squared minus 11x minus 30. And then we just run through this the way that we would normally. Now, because they tell us that x plus 5 is a factor, if you get a remainder in this problem, you made a mistake. Something's wrong. Let's figure it out. Hopefully we will not get a remainder. X times what is x cubed? That's going to be x squared. X squared times x is x cubed, and x squared times 5 is plus 5x squared. And I subtract. The x cubes cancel out. 4x squared minus 5x squared is negative x squared. Drop down the next thing, the 11x. X times what is negative x squared? That would be negative x. Negative x times x plus 5 is negative x squared minus 5x. And I subtract. Sorry, everybody, I'm a little bit distracted. I'm going to turn off this projector here. Now I'm less distracted. So I've multiplied negative x times x plus 5, giving me negative x squared minus 5x. I subtract. The x squareds beautifully cancel out. Negative 11x plus 6x is negative 6x minus 30. And then x times what gives me negative 6x? That would be minus 6. And then hopefully at this point, this is where the no remainder is going to come in. Negative 6x minus 30. We have the exact same thing, so when we subtract, everything beautifully cancels out, and I'm left with a remainder of 0. So, because of the way that this divided, we know that this is equal to x plus 5 times x squared minus x minus 6. All right. Then it says to finish up factoring, we can still factor what's left behind. So my final answer is going to be x plus 5. And then what multiplies to negative 6, yet adds up to negative 1, negative 3, and positive 2. So x minus 3, x plus 2, and I have fully factored now. All right. And that's my answer. That was a dramatic pause. All right, number 2. The only difference in this one is that instead of them giving you a factor, they give you a root or a 0. And even though it's positive 2 is the root, that means that they're telling you that to factor out an x minus 2. Remember how an x minus 2 gives you a 0 at positive 2? Opposite thinking. If this is the 0, that's the root. X cubed plus 3x squared minus 16x plus 12. and then we start doing the long division thing. Now remember, if we get a remainder, something went wrong. X times x squared is this x cubed, so that gives me x cubed minus 2x squared. When I subtract this, 3x squared minus negative 2x squared is 5x squared minus 16x. X times what gives me 5x squared? 5x. 5x times x, 5x squared. 5x times negative 2, negative 10x. And then we can subtract. Minus 5x squareds go away. Negative 16x plus 10x is negative 6x plus 12. And our last step, x times what is negative 6x? That would be minus 6. Distribute. And this is where we should start looking, see that remainder of 0. Negative 6x, negative 6 times negative 2 is positive 12. And then when I subtract, everything cancels out, and I get a happy nothing remainder, a remainder of 0. So we know now that x cubed plus 3x squared minus 16 plus 12 is equal to x minus 2 times x squared plus 5x minus 6. So now, final step to finish up the factoring. I need something that multiplies to negative 6 yet adds up to positive 5. That sounds like positive 6 and negative 1. And I'm fully factored. And oh yes, this lesson is less than 7 minutes long. Every once in a while we get short lessons, and that's a good thing. Everybody, I hope you're having yourself a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. Bye-bye.